Okay, movie number 2. This one is only about the leaves. So let's make sure we get to them. And I'm going to tell you that I might not refer to my assignment guide at all, but I'm going to be doing page 3. Let me see how far I'm going to be going. Page 3, step 6. So that's going to be right here. Page 3, let me hit Command 0. Page 3, step 6 all the way to the bottom, and then all the way on step 7. Going to be not going through this, but I'm going to show you everything that's I'm going to be referring to the scale keyframes and where I said to actually scale them, which was on the bottom of page 3. So I'm going to leave it right there, and then we'll minimize that and just get going with it. So to get this to look right doesn't have to take forever, okay? And you can actually let the file almost kind of like solve itself. See how I started kind of high up? There's no need to start way on the bottom, way on the bottom. So what we want to do is we want to go to the one we just have right here, and we want to start with either one of the leaves. So in the leaves, let me go here. Look at how I have the leaf here. You can choose either leaf to start. Doesn't matter which one you do. Let's start with this one. So I'm going to drop the leaf down on top of the stem, okay? And let's go get the leaf. Now here's the leaf. Now there's 2 ways to get this done. Look at how the leaf, whoops, the leaf actually came in way at, oh, and you know what? I did realize that I had an error here, which isn't a big deal. Can you look over to the right here and see how the beginning of this leaf layer is way the heck? Look at how the leaf doesn't even show up now. Look at how I left it at 10. So if I hit the home key, okay, I can simply hit the left bracket and it pops in. So you can just move the time. Watch if I move the timeline here and hit the right bracket. Then the end part point goes in, or the left bracket. The in point of the layer of the Illustrator art pops right in. But let's just have it at the home key and then hit the left bracket, okay, and hit save on the file. Now, let's go in, and what I want to do though is I want to leave. Get it? Leave the stem all the way out, so we can see the stem. Let me move it all the way out so we can see the stem, and that leads me into my error. Okay, I know you all are saying, Brian, you made the end. Let me hit the E key. You made the end of the stem stroke have a keyframe at 10. So it took all the way to 10 seconds, let me watch this, for it to grow, and I was supposed to be at 3 seconds. Okay, no big deal. Let's just make it 300. I'll be a good boy, and I'll grab the one that's there and move it all the way to here. So now the stem grows much quicker from 0 to 3. I knew you saw that. But you know what? So what? Here's the technique we're going to use, okay? Let's just pick up our leaf with the V key and drop it in position right here. Now let's not worry about where, let me close this. Let's not worry about where the leaf is going to do its thing, okay? It doesn't really matter where it's going to do its thing, meaning where it's going to be in the placement of time in the staggered part of it. Let me go to the one that's finished. See how mine are all staggered nicely? If I were to show you everything that each one of these has, let me shift click 4 and hit the S key. See these scale keyframes? Those are the things that make these 4 leaves actually look like they're popping out. They go from 0 scale to 100 scale to 90 scale to 100 scale. So they have a little bounce in them. But don't worry about where that's going to take place yet. That's step 3. Let's do step 1. Step 1 is just get the darn thing to look right and then worry about it later. But instead of having to do 702,128 scale keyframes, with this stem all the way up about here, let me see where I tell you to do it. I say move forward, make sure you have the, okay, Shift R. Let me see where I say, you know what I do? I just tell you to make sure there's enough stem showing for right now. That's exactly what I'm going to say. Just make sure there's enough stem growing. Watch how I pick up this leaf and move it even closer to the end point. All right, it doesn't matter. Let's hit the S key for scale, and anywhere in here we are going to make the following things occur. So let me zoom into this so I can see it by frames. Can you see the frames start to show up here? Okay, let me move this back a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to put 4 keyframes in there following these steps. We are going to make sure you have the leaf selected and the scale and the rotation transforms, so I'll bring up the rotation transform. Actually, that's something that I want you to see I'm going to change in a minute. You don't have to have the rotation transform showing. You really don't. Just the scale, okay? But you'll see why. Click on the stopwatch for the scale at the beginning of the footage. Notice I don't tell you what second you have to be on. And set the initial keyframe number 1. Then move forward, press Command right arrow 5 frames, all right, and have it be at 100%. Then move it 3 frames and then actually move it 2 frames. So we are going to go 5, 3, and 2. Okay, so let's just go like that and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's minimize that. Okay, right now I'm going to set an initial keyframe right here. I'll come back in a minute and I'll make it 0. Follow what I'm saying? Now if I go Command right arrow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how I went 5 frames forward? I'm going to hit the Add Remove button, so now I have another one. Now it says go 3. So I go Command 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go from 100 to 90%. You can have yours go smaller. I don't care. Now let's go ahead 1, 2, and let's go back to 100%. Now I'm going to go to the first one. If I hit J, whoops, K to go there, I'm going to make this one be 0. Okay. I made one small error, and it's a good error to make. I forgot to move the anchor point to the point of where I want this to scale. So I am going to put it at 0, but I'm going to show you where I made the error. Okay, I'm glad I did that actually. Watch the silly thing grow from the center. I don't want it growing from the center. I want it growing from the edge. So while I have it showing completely, just a minute, let me move this over. While I have it showing it completely, let me have all of these on screen here. So let me move this all the way past it. I'm going to hit the Pan Behind Tools button Y. I can just grab this and shift this right over that anchor point. Now do you see how I put that? I'm putting that really close right over that anchor point. Now where is it going to scale from? The answer is from where I want it to come off the stem. Now watch how it scales off the stem. It grows from that point out. So I'm not unhappy that I make that error. It's just don't panic with any error. Now the leaf is an Illustrator file. If we want the leaf to look beautiful as it can look, we're going to turn on the continuously rasterize switch so that the leaf has the best drawing capability that it can. And I'm going to put this on full so the leaf looks nice and pretty. Now the leaf rasterizes itself. I'm sorry. The leaf rasterizes itself and makes sure that it's redrawing the Illustrator file every pixel that changes and every second and every frame that changes. Now there's our first one. Okay, now that was leaf. I'm going to rename that leaf 1. Now let's go get the other looking leaf and let's set it in here. Right now the rotation is fine. Remember I said you didn't have to actually put rotation down here and use the rotation transform to move it? I'm not going to. If I hit the W key, do you see how I can rotate this leaf very easily to be perpendicular to the stem? So switch from the W key to the V key when you go get your leaves and when we duplicate them. Let's go do it. Let's take leaf 2 down, this leaf. Whoops. Let's take leaf 2 down. And now let's go back, let's close leaf 2. It has a little bit of a different shape, and let's put it above leaf 1. Now let's move it like this, and all I really have to do, let me go back in the distance here. I'll put it kind of close to where this one's beginning. Look where I'm circling right here. And let's marquee these points right there and hit Command C. Now let's hit J, so that I'm really close to where that is right there. And let's hit the S transform for leaf 2. Let's name it leaf 2 right now. Okay, good. Let's just hit Command V, and now I have the same thing happening. Now let's hit the V key and move this leaf down. Look at how it's not in the right rotation. If I may say that, it is not. So let's hit the W key and just rotate that little guy. Okay, what has to change? Obviously the pan behind tool in this has to take that anchor point that's right there. So I hit what key? Y. Move this right over that. Zoom in real close and make sure it's directly over. Okay, that's about as close as I need to get. And now we have our leaves starting to grow. So now look at how they're popping out. Okay, they have a nice feel to them. Now, I'm going to zoom back here so you can watch all the leaves start to grow. All we have to do is hit the V key. Now, let's just start going left, right, left, right, left, right, but let's not worry about the stacking order yet. And let's certainly not worry about when are they going to appear when the stem is growing. Now, look, there's the stem growing and the leaves are popping out way too late. Who cares? Let's just make sure that the whole thing is growing all the way, okay? And let's make sure that we get this thing done right. So let me leave this about right here so at least I can see my leaves and get close. Now all we have to do is click the one we want and hit Command D. Okay, now if we hit Command D, we can move this one over. We can simply take the leaf if you want to and go like this, put it down here, hit the what's the rotate tool? The W key. Look at how I can rotate that and I'm done. Now I can take the V key, click on the leaf, hit Command D, move this one up. Now how do I rotate it? I go hit the W key and I rotate it. There's the next leaf. Let's take the V key, click on this leaf again, Command D. Let's pick it up, and this time let's rotate it this way. Let's put it right there. Let's hit the W key and just rotate that little guy all the way. So we get a little bit of a different look to our leaves as they're growing. Just make sure the leaf is actually overlapping the stem. So let's go to the V key and let's click on this leaf, Command D, and I'll move this one up. I'll hit the W key and I'll rotate it. Now just have patience with this as you work your way up. Okay, let's hit the W key. I can change the scale of these in a little while. Look at how all of my artwork is starting from the same point. And if I hit the S button, you can see how each one of these is actually lining up. You know what? I made one slight error. I really did. On that one, I forgot that when I scaled it, I actually scaled it. When I take this away, it's gonna flip back to the other side. Okay, so that's what I made a mistake on. I'm sorry I did that. I am going to take the W key on that and I am going to rotate it for this side and take the V key. So don't go doing the transforms like I was doing. I just made one tiny little bit of an error. So now let's take this one, let's move it down. Let's take this one and move it down. Take the Command D to duplicate, leave it right down here in between these two, hit the W key and I'll rotate this. And believe me, you guys, you'll get used to this, and you don't need them to look absolutely perfect. Let's hit the V key, click Command D, move this one to the other side right here, hit the W key, rotate it, and let's go on up the thing, up the stem. Let's click on this one, Command D, let's put it up a little higher. Let's have it go at a little bit of a different angle so it has a little bit of a different look to it. Let's go click on the V key, click on this one, Command D. Let's put this one on this side again, and now let's hit the W key and rotate it. So I'm doing this several times so you can see that it's kind of an okay thing to do. Now later on we can change, let me move this down. Later on we can change the some of the scale buttons so some of the leaves get smaller. They never grow to 100%. You follow what I'm saying? But you'll have to go JJJ or KKK to go back and forth and actually alter the 100, the 90, and the 100 in scale on them. Let's continue the process. How do you select a leaf? You hit the V key. So let's click on this leaf, hit Command what to duplicate, Command D, place it right there, hit the W key, and just rotate it over. Now let's look back and see we have our stem growing just fine. Now when you get it all finished, when you come back, I'm going to have all of them all done, and this will be called leaves 2, and then I want you to continue with the process of making the leaves go all the way up the stem. As I said, when you come back, Let me make this really tiny. When you come back, I'll have all the leaves in there on the stem, but I won't have them yet. I'll still have to do step 2. This is what I refer to as step 1. So we have all the leaves popping out bloop, at one time. Obviously, that's not a very good piece of animation. Okay, so let me get closer on that. See, there's our animation. All we're caring about is placement. Okay, I'll come right back.